Alright, well, thanks for checking this out. This is part 2. So this is a water heater that I worked on the other day. This thing had been out in the rain for a couple years. And I got everything working on it, and I just let it sit with the pilot light on for a few hours. That helps me try and figure out if there's anything wrong with the valve that doesn't show up right away. And sure enough, a few hours later when I came out to shut it off, I had a 5 flash, or a code 5, and that is 5 flashes with a 3-second pause is the thermostat or well sensor fault. So that's the thermistor. So now I'm going to have to disconnect the gas line, disconnect the burner assembly, and unscrew basically this entire valve. And I'm going to put this one in. This one's got a metal tip on it with a different thermistor. This is the thermistor wire right here that you see. It's kind of orange and yellow and white. And go ahead and replace it with this, and then fire it up and see if that works. Loose. Well, it's got a metal on it. That's weird. That's really unusual. Looks like somebody changed the valve too recently. Got pipe dope on it. It's got a metal tip. Very interesting. Never seen a code 5 with a metal tip on it, so. Alright, well, we'll go ahead and put a different one in anyway. So I always do a combination of pipe dope and Teflon tape. But this has been changed. This has been changed not too long ago. I'm wondering if it was me. I don't think I've worked on this though. Could be a motherboard issue. Like it's a faulty circuit board. find out here. Oh, perfect. In a minute. So that's why I like to, after I fix the water heaters, I like to leave them sort of on, you know, not running, but on. Because sometimes the valves take a minute or two, or an hour or two to have an issue show up, you know. I mean, sometimes it takes 3 days. But obviously I can't leave them sitting there for 3 days, so. Occasionally issues will show up later. Just deal with them as they come, so. What else you can do? Okay, so it's back together. And I can test it out. See if it's working, so. This is a different valve. Same cover, different well sensor or thermistor. So replace the black and the thermistor. Cover's the same. Now it's got a different valve. So I just used the valve that was in there. And we'll see what happens here. When you're putting these adapters on, just between you and me, see how much Teflon tape they put on there? So I only use pipe dope. I'll just use a little bit of pipe dope when I'm putting these adapters on, because if you put Teflon tape and you put too much, you can crack this aluminum valve. I've done it before myself. Just one turn of Teflon tape too much, and it creates so much tension that it just splits these valves. So I always recommend just a little bit of pipe dope or the PTFE sealant on these threads, and not to use any of the Teflon tape there. And you don't need any Teflon tape here, because this connection here is a self-sealing connection. So you only need it where you have straight pipe. So this is considered straight pipe. So you need either Teflon tape or pipe dope where that's going in. So I'm going to put a different adapter on and just put a little bit of pipe dope. It's usually more than I put on there. And that's kind of, I just try and do the thinnest coating possible, because you don't need a lot of pipe dope in there. It just squirts out anyway. And if you get any inside the valve, it can end up screwing up the valve. So I don't recommend a lot of pipe dope, but just a little bit. Just enough to give it some, because it's a lubricant. It's Teflon. And Teflon's a lubricant, so it just kind of helps it seat in there a little bit deeper. There we go, that's plenty. Alright, so gas is on. We're gonna fire this baby up. Just purging it right now. I got a little clamp that I use. Just kind of hook it on there and purge it. And it usually fires up like first click when you do that. So you're not, you know, going crazy. I just heard it. You're not going crazy doing this. You know, you just purge it. You can push the button down manually for 2 minutes or something, but I always just click these things on, put my tools away, grab a drink of water, and then come back. Oh, yeah, it's on. Pilot light is on. And I just saw the light come on. So that's the status light. Let's see if we can get it for you there. So it's blinking again. Of course, it did that last time. I don't know if you can see the pilot light back inside there. But we'll fire it up. Make sure the valve works. Okay, pretty sure you heard that, right? So it's empty, so I'm not going to run it for very long. And then we'll see if this thing duplicates the code 5. And I counted it. I was lucky I caught it because I don't always leave them. So I just leave them like right now, right? I'm working on it. So how do I know if the valve's going to go bad in a while? I don't, but I do everything I can. So I just leave it in the pilot setting and see if anything shows up, and that's what happened. So a 5 flash, or what I call a code 5, showed up, and that's basically the thermistor, which on this valve would be this wire. All right, so something's wrong with it. Might not be a short, but it looks like it got pinched maybe back in here, but that thing's shot. So all right, I'm gonna call it fixed for now. Fixed twice, but it's working, and I'll check it here in a few hours.